Savvy Central Radio is proud to host our 4th symposium. Join us in our new multi-part speaking series called Mastering the Influence Game, starting this fall in New York City. Every 2 months for the next several months, we'll be bringing you global cutting-edge experts in the field of influence, marketing, and media, designed to give entrepreneurs and small business owners the tools and strategies to take their business to the next level. To register and book your ticket today, go to masteringtheinfluencegame.eventbrite.com. Hello everyone, good afternoon, and welcome to Savvy Central Radio. This is your host, Christina Nitschman. Each week on Savvy, we host new individuals and business owners, inviting them to share their expertise, dreams, and lessons learned in their field of business. Our guest today is Laura Rubinstein. Laura is a social media and marketing strategist. She is also the president of Social Buzz Club, an influencer marketing network, and creator of the Social Media Blast-Off course. She is a contributing author to 2 Amazon best-selling book. With over 22 years marketing experience, Laura has optimized marketing plans and developed branding strategies for more than 1,000 business owners globally. Laura joins us today for the 4th in our social media series, where she'll be focusing on how to get the most out of Google+. Hi, Laura. It's great to have you back on Savvy Central Radio. How are you today?
I'm great, Christina. Thanks for having me back.
Well, I'm so excited to have you back for our 4th interval in our special social media series, which are helping our listeners get up to par with how to use all the social media platforms to the best of their ability so they can get the most out of all the platforms. And today our focus is going to be Google+. So I'm really excited about this because I'm not too clear on Google+ myself. I just started using it a month or 2 ago, so I'm very unfamiliar with it, and I'm hoping you can help me as well as our listeners. So to start, why is it important to have a Google+ account if you're a business owner?
Well, the simple answer is Google Plus is Google. And as the most popular search engine, getting found on Google can be very valuable if you want more website traffic and you want to be found when people are searching for you. So having a Google Plus account that is well set up can increase your searchability and findability. And by the way, like almost everyone you know probably already has a Google account.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like super easy for anyone to get a Google Plus account. And it's really easy to engage with people. And I know even though you're a new user to Google Plus, you're already using some of the very cool and beneficial features. Like I've seen emails from you that came from Google Plus.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty unique, the way you've done that when you post something that an email comes to me. Easy, and it's also really easy to group or segment people, so you can channel messages to specific groups of people. So if you have different types of markets or different things you want to say to different groups of people, it's super easy. And if you're a local business, you can create a Google Plus local page, which is awesome for visibility.
And would that local page be your business page, or is that separate?
It's kind of your business page. They're kind of changing it from moment to moment. So I'm not sure what the exact answer is, but let's just say yes, sort of.
Well, I have to say, Laura, what I do really like is that segmentation that you mentioned, because when I started Google Plus about a couple months ago, I love the fact that a good majority of folks who sign up on Google like it because of my show. So they say, oh, I'm interested in Savvy, so I put them in the Savvy folder. And then there are some people who are just plain old friend or just plain old family members. So they get in another folder, and then public is yet another folder. So it's awesome, as you mentioned, if you do have a particular post, it lists right below the post that you put up that you can send an email to that segment, which is what you were just mentioning.
And in Google Plus, it's called circles. The folders that you're referring to, they call them circles. So if anybody's looking on there, like, where's these folders? They're actually, when you see the word circle this person, or who's in your circles, or these are your circles, that's kind of like the folders you're talking about.
And you mentioned some of the benefits of being able to be found a lot easier by using Google+. Now, is this one of the benefits is increasing your SEO? Would that be one of the benefits as well?
Absolutely. I mean, that's probably the biggest reason. I highly recommend everyone at least establish an account and fill out your about page really well. There are other benefits.
Tell me. I'd love to hear them.
So one of the things Google Plus has put in place is authorship. You can link your blog posts, even your guest blog posts, to your Google Plus profile, which again gives you better ranking, more visibility in searches, and include your photo in searches. So if you've ever done a Google search and you see a person's little thumbnail photo pop up with the search, that's because that piece of content online, whether it's a blog post or an article or page, has been connected through their Google Plus account using something called authorship. So if anybody wants to learn more about that, Google authorship, and they'll find out a whole lot about it. Another great benefit is the free tools that come along with it, like Hangouts. So if people don't know about Hangouts, that's a way to get together with 1 or up to 10 people via a video conference call, and it's free. You can also do public Hangouts that can be embedded real-time on your website.
Wow. And how many can that include in the public?
Well, however many can go to your website.
Wow. So it depends on, I would assume, on your bandwidth and how many you can take before.
That's a good question.
Because I'm sure that some people's bandwidth would be a bit slower, so the more people that join will slow it down a bit. And
actually, when you do a public Hangout and you embed it in real time on your website, they're just watching it like a video. They can't really interact unless on your website you put kind of a chat feature. If they're one of the 10 people in the Hangout itself, they can interact within the Hangout. The public Hangout that you embed real time, you can embed it on your website. You can even embed it on your Facebook page. If you put in the chat feature and it's a real-time chat feature, then you can engage with them as well. They wouldn't be able to be on microphone or video cam, but they would certainly be able to watch the Hangout and possibly chat.
Oh, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
And can you save these later on as videos or audios and that sort of thing?
And that's called Hangouts on Air, which automatically uploads the video to your YouTube account.
Oh, awesome.
So if you set it up as a Hangout on Air, it means you're being recorded. And everybody who comes into that Hangout of the 10 people has to agree to be recorded before they can join the Hangout. And then the people watching the public Hangouts don't have to agree to that. They're just watching like a YouTube video type of thing.
Now, what I'm curious about is, would you be able to edit an audio of such? Say there's a part in it that didn't work out so well. Are you able to edit those videos?
The answer is yes. It's a little bit of a workaround at this point, which is you'd unlist it or make it private once it's up. It's public and viewable to the public when it's running. And if you've announced it, if you've not announced it, chances are not a whole lot of people are going to attend because they didn't plan to, and they might not see that you're running it unless you're like this superhero or some celebrity. They're going to want to be stalking you. Your stalkers might see it. But the minute it's finished recording and uploaded to your YouTube account, you can mark that as private or unlisted. You can download it. You can edit it and upload it into a new YouTube video, and you could delete the other one if you really wanted to. I don't necessarily recommend that, but it may work where you piece it out and you might have several promotional videos or short snippets that you can give, teasers for.
Have you ever had a Hangout where things didn't quite work out, audio when people couldn't hear each other? That's what I mean by editing it, so that people don't have to hear the mess ups or any difficulty.
Well, sometimes this is the 21st century and the beginning of it. We're not yet in the Star Trek era. So stuff happens on technology, as we all know. And sometimes people will opt to redo the whole thing. And other times, people will edit it because there was too much of challenges. But that's why I recommend definitely practicing, doing a few trial runs, getting your system down, knowing how you're going to do this, knowing how you're going to invite people, knowing your material inside and out. And if there's any technical glitches, then you can smoothly address them without being too overwhelmed.
Those are really good tips, Laura, because I often say that to people who call me about podcasting questions, or like, what do I do? I want to get my podcast just like you up, and I want to get them going and get successful. And one of the first things I say when they get their podcast up and rolling is, before you even go on air is do a couple test runs. Have your friends call you and pretend to do the show for them.
Right.
Have them give you critiques. And if anything goes wrong, measure, because everyone has a different system they're working off of. Some have greater bandwidth and greater internet access. Some are faster than others. Some you'll like add a VoIP phone to start out with and a cell phone. You'll get calls with drop and stuff like that. So these are just things you want to watch out for before you even get online, or in this case, get on Google Hangouts, so you don't have to air something that's kind of all over the place.
Right.
Yeah. So Laura, what would you say are some of the biggest best practices for using Google+?
Okay. Well, it's similar to other networks in the sense that you want to post high-value, engaging content. Images do help, and you can then add that added bonus of emailing people in a circle that you've posted this content to get them engaging with you. I also recommend that you go around and you circle other people. You add them to your contacts. That's how you do that. You create these different circle categories for yourself, and you add them maybe by what industry they're in, or if they're clients or particular shared interests, and then you +1 others' content. So all the people you add to your circles in your home feed, you're going to start to see their content as they're adding it to Google+. And if you go there and you +1 others, +1 is like liking on Facebook, and then comment, add a comment to contribute to the conversation, and or you can share their content on your Google Plus page. So that's really good practices to start engaging and building your reputation and your relationships. And when you share someone else's content, write a comment. You know, how has this post impacted you? Why do you like it? Personalize it. This way, it's not just a blind post, and you know, you're starting the conversation with your group, your circles.
Yeah, those are some really good tips there, Laura. I have a very good friend who's just joined the entire social media arena. And at first she was a little bothered because she friended a bunch of people and got all of their feed on her front page, and she was overwhelmed. She's like, I can't talk to all these people. Ah! I said, no worries. Just go down, see what jumps out at you, what article or tip or something that someone says that really matches or is congruent with you, and then make a little comment. It doesn't have to be anything too complicated. Just let them know that you're listening, and it's really about just connecting one-on-one. And as I said, to some people get a little frustrated because they said, you know, it feels really hard to make that connection with people. It's not an overnight process, just like as we said in earlier talks, Laura, it's an ongoing process of connecting slowly and getting to know that person, and then sometimes even taking it offline.
Exactly. And I give people permission. I'm so glad you coached your friend on that, to basically ignore the homepage. On Facebook, you can create friend lists. So just ignoring, it's not like everybody's ringing you up on the phone. It's more like you have about a bazillion or 100 different channels talking at the same time, on like the television, but you don't feel compelled to reply to every commercial, you know, and go out and buy every product that's flashing on the screen or talk back to them. No, you just like whatever you're interested in, you watch, you interact with, you engage, and TV is even becoming interactive now. But so you don't have, like you said, don't feel obligated to respond back to everyone.
Correct. And as I said, as we both said earlier in, I think, the Facebook one that we did together, is you said don't spend so much time on the feed page because you can get overwhelmed and there's just so much out there. But what I do maybe once a day is I scroll through it really quickly to see what pops out at me. Is something happening with my sister? Is my good friend in business doing XYZ? And it's stuff. Couple of items pop up. I then, say a couple words and keep moving. But as you said earlier, Laura, to put a time gauge on that so that you're not being sucked in and overwhelmed.
Exactly. And you can also plus mention people, like in Twitter and Facebook, you can tag people. It's called plus mentioning them. You start the plus sign or the @ sign and start typing their name. And as long as you circled them, you can mention them. It's a great way to, once again, call attention and interact. Say, hey, so-and-so, I'm interacting with you, So it's a really nice way to engage with people on that.
Can I ask you, Laura, so you see a wonderful post by a friend of yours who's in business and you mention something on it. Now, will they see it unless you put their @ and their name? Or because you're mentioning something on their article, on their post, will they automatically see it? Or do you have to put the @ and their name?
You either have to put the @ or the plus sign, and make sure you're circled them, because then you have to select them. Kind of like on Facebook. and then they'll get a notification. Whether they see that notification or not is another situation, but they have a higher likelihood of seeing it, whereas nobody's going to notify them that you mentioned their name if you didn't plus mention them, unless they're following, unless, I commented on something and then you commented back, thanks, Laura, la, la, la. And there is a greater chance I'll see that because I'm following that conversation.
Okay, that's a good
But if you start a brand new post and say, hey, check out Laura, blah, 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 I may or may not see that.
That's a good thing to know because I haven't always put the person's name. So that's good to know just for Google+. Yeah.
It's always a good practice. And you can also use hashtags in Google+ as well. Don't make a whole post of hashtags. That would be bad. But few keyword hashtags is good.
Oh, awesome. So what would you say are some of the biggest misconceptions around Google+?
I think one of the biggest things are people are in denial that they think it's not important and no one's there. In the first year, they had 100 million users. They're already up to 500. But actually, I think they just released they surpassed 1 billion. They're already at 1 billion users. Whether that's active users or not is another story, but we all know everyone has a Google account. Everyone has a Gmail account or some sort of a YouTube account. If they have any Google product, they have a Google account. It's like the click of a button to set up the Google Plus part of that. Most people think Google Plus is a social network, but it's different. It's more like a social layer on top of all of Google's systems and tools that are available. So it's integrated with email, their Gmail. It's integrated with YouTube. It's integrated with analytics and the Google Plus local pages, the business page. They're still kind of bringing that into one company page type of thing. And the AdWords, it's all kind of connected now. You have one Google login. At least that's what they're trying to have people do. So it's becoming very much used, very more so in many ways, interactively between people as well as by the search engines, as well as by these other tools. So it's time to wake up to Google Plus. Wake up to Google Plus.
Oh boy, they'll love that commercial.
Yeah.
No, but it's true. I've been using Blogger for years to write my blogs and didn't even realize it was a Google product. In the past several months, because I didn't own Texter or a smartphone, I got a Google Voice account. So now that people can text me, and I set up call it my business line. So there's 2 business lines. One you can actually text me on, which is my Google Voice account. And what else do they offer that I've been using? Of course, Google Plus I started using. I have a Google Gmail account. So they have so many different platforms that all interconnect, and it's really, really awesome. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
What would you say, now I'm sure you've seen a lot of businesses as you work helping people get more usage out of their social media platforms and work better with them. What have you seen as some of the biggest mistakes made using this particular platform?
Well, I think the biggest mistake is not using it.
Okay.
That's the biggest mistake I'm seeing is people are like, they haven't yet jumped on board. And then once they are using it, they're not optimizing it. So do they have a cover image on it? Are they regularly posting? Are they circling people? Are they engaging? Are they trying too hard with hashtags? That's one of the biggest mistakes. Too many hashtags. So there's just so much you can do with it. And it's another big mistake is not putting the Google Plus link on your website along with your other social links. So integrating it into your website and the +1 buttons on your posts and your pages. Definitely have those in, because when you can't +1 somebody, if you're not integrating that sharing tool, it's going to be even less likely that your content is getting shared by others there. So that's a big mistake. A lot of people start communities, which is great, and it's a really great way to do it. So if you're not starting a community, it's kind of a mistake, or joining communities. Remember to join communities. Communities are like Facebook groups, but some of these groups are really active. You can find groups on all kinds of topics they're way more robust than LinkedIn, and they're a bit, probably equally as active as Facebook groups. So it's just another way, and you can host events through them. You can host Hangouts through them if you want. So there's a lot of flexibility on what you can do there. You can share their posts. It's a nice place to do. So the mistakes that people make on social media in general are like selling and trying to be pushed too hard. Just be yourself.
Yeah, if you feel like you're being sold to way too hard.
Yes.
It's like, stop! One thing I want to ask you, and you brought this up, is hashtags, because I have seen some of my friends kind of overuse the hashtag. What is the best use of hashtags, period, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, or Google+?
Well, I think if you use 1, 2, or 3 hashtags at the bottom of a post that's keyword related or that's already being used out there, like quotes or whatever the current trending hashtag is that's related, is a really good use of hashtags. It's a way to sort material. A lot of conferences will use it, or if you're doing a meetup, have a hashtag for your meetup, because then anybody who's looking for information on this meetup, and make it a unique one, and not too long, but something that tells people and promote it. So if you're not promoting the hashtag and asking other people to use it, especially if you're doing it for an event, then it'll all be self-generated, which is fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's a number of ways. There's not just one way.
Got it.
But don't overuse them. Yeah,
I just wanted to get clear on that, because sometimes I see it used so much that I kind of lose the message I'm trying to read. Like, what are you trying to say again? Because I'm sorting through all the hashtags. It kind of takes away from the message. Mm-hmm. So I like what you just said about putting it at the bottom of your message instead of just having it spewed about the whole message you're trying to say, because then you get lost trying to read the general message.
Yeah. I mean, here and there, 1 or 2 in it is fine, but a lot of people are putting like 3 at the bottom, which is nice so it's not distracting you while you're reading.
Awesome. I like that tip. So what would you say is the difference between, say, Google Plus and using Facebook or Twitter? Because they're all different platforms. So what shouldn't you do on Google Plus? Or what should you do on Google Plus that you wouldn't do on the other platforms?
I think the engagement is a little different. It's way more social on Facebook. I don't find I'm putting as much social personal information on Google Plus. I'm more put resourceful information, resources, tips, blog posts. I'm very much more, and then some quotes, inspirational quotes, but Facebook is like the social, feel-good, motivational place to be. And Google Plus has more humor, more art, more content. And it makes sense. I do searches all the time, and now more and more Google Plus posts are coming up. People are using Google Plus posts like blog posts. I even know some strategy and some strategists are using Google Plus, put the whole article of their blog post, and they're syndicating that to their blog. So it's not the other way around. It's going from Google Plus to their blog, and then from their blog out to other social networks. So that's a really involved strategy, because you have to have certain systems in place to do that. But you can do longer posts, is my point, that have content, because, especially if they have keywords in them, you can get that SEO from it. Like I said, I Googled stuff, and Google Plus posts came up. You can bold and italicize in a post as well, by the way. So it has a little bit of, shall we say, editing features in there, and maybe some more. You can edit a post. Isn't that lovely? And Facebook finally is coming out with that. But LinkedIn, you can't really edit a post once it's submitted, but in Google Plus you can. It always has been that way. So, every network is kind of trying to be each other, it seems like.
Yeah.
So when one comes out with a good idea, the other one does it too. So they're not that different, but it's a good question, because there are some nuances. Like, some people post long posts on Facebook if it's really high content and they get that engagement from it.
Yeah.
But the statistics on Facebook are that posts with 100 or fewer characters, or maybe it's 80 characters or less, get the most engagement. At least that was a statistic I heard probably in the last year. So
yeah,
it changes. It's very dynamic, but it's worth asking the question and getting some ideas, and then go test it.
Yeah. And I can see that about the long posts, because there are some posts I read on Facebook. Once I get after a paragraph, I'm like, okay, I've just got too much work to do. I'm sorry, friend, but I can't read your whole post.
Right. And they go on and on. It's a social thing. It's more not like, okay, how do you do this? What are the 6 steps to setting up a Hangout or something, right?
Exactly.
It's more like, oh, can you believe this happened to me? And here's the details. And what do you think? And here's how I reacted. And, a lot of times.
Exactly. Had a fight with my mother-in-law. It's like, no, I don't want to hear this.
Yeah. And Facebook is the place where people announce their anniversaries or deaths in the family and get a lot of sympathy. And I'm not seeing that so much on Google Plus. If it is there, it's more couched in okay, I'm going to be taking time off because of this death in the family.
Mm-hmm.
So it may change, somebody may be listening to this weeks from when we've recorded it and it may change. So I put that caveat on there. If it's changed, I'm down with it. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's all good. There's no right or wrong here.
Yeah, what I like about you saying there is that to remember that super dynamic on all the social media sites and to keep up to par on how others are using it so you can get the best out of your usage. But I'd like to go back to you mentioning communities, which I didn't realize existed on Google+. How does that go, and how is it different from like using LinkedIn communities or groups?
So it's a similar concept. They are groups. You can join them. Normally you don't need to be approved for them. And I know LinkedIn has gone again to open groups. A lot of the groups are open. I think there is a way to do secret groups. You can host events through the groups. You can invite people to your groups. It's a great way to communicate, once again, with a group of like-minded people, mastermind with them, collaborate with them. I know Guy Kawasaki has a big group, or somebody started a group on behalf of him, and it's just all about Google Plus, in fact. So they're just great ways and you'll get notifications from them. And so it's really a great addition to Google Plus. It wasn't there in the beginning. They did add it. It's been there for quite a while now, but again, it's evolving over time. So is YouTube, and YouTube is now integrated with Google Plus, and they now have the editor, so you can try making changes like you were asking me earlier to your videos. You could download and make edits to your video. You can try the YouTube video editor. It might let you do that right there on your video that you have just recorded. So and then you can create brand new videos. So, and then they all get tied to your Google Plus account. It's really, really special.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm beginning to see that. I just started, I've had a Google account for a couple years, but I hadn't really used it. A couple months ago, my friend's a big ardent fan of all things YouTube. It's his main entertainment. And he said to me, I don't want to go to Blog Talk Radio. He was under the assumption he had to actually sign up with Blog Talk Radio in order to listen in. I'm like, no, you just, take my link, go there and listen. But he said, I would much rather, since I'm on YouTube all day long, just come to your channel and listen to your interviews. So I started to upload them into a YouTube channel that I created for that reason, because a lot of people converge on YouTube.
Exactly.
Yep.
And you can post your videos to your Google Plus account, and I +1 them and share them there and comment them there. And it's pretty amazing what you can do.
Yeah, I'm seeing the tools. It's really awesome. Well, before we leave, Laura, is there any last words you'd like to offer our listeners with the use of using Google Plus going forward?
Yes, a couple things. Don't be afraid to try it. And the other thing is, if you have more than one Google account, it can get kind of crazy and confusing. So try to have just one.
Okay.
Like Facebook, that you use as your Google Plus account. I've had so many clients that I've had to kind of combine or delete or figure out what to do with. And it's not an easy situation because it's different. I have a couple and I'm trying to figure out what to do with them. So if you can have just one, you'll make your life much simpler. And then from your one profile on Google Plus, you will do what you do like on Facebook and create a company page. Okay, because they still require a personal profile to create a company page. And don't worry, nobody necessarily will know that you've created that company page. So it is kind of looks separate, but you can get to it through your account. And there are some fun things you can do once you're comfortable and you want to try a Hangout. They have some tools you can use, like one called the lower third tool that allows you to put in your name in a kind of a colored strip with your logo, kind of looking like a news anchor. So they have some really cool things. So again, don't be afraid to try Google Hangouts, Google Plus. It gives your video a professional look with your name on the lower third. You can try some of their other fun features. And there's so much I can talk about Google Plus. There's a whole advanced area, which I'm not going to get into, but just know that this is just an overview. to get you on the on-ramp with Google+. And really, you don't need to do much more than the things we talked about today. And they are one of the easier platforms to learn. The Google Places is a little challenging, but other than that, I wouldn't worry about it. I mean, I just get on and start circling people and start posting content and do what you did. You got on, you started, make sure you fill out your about page really well. Link up as many links to that website area and the link area as you can. Do research authorship, because I think it's worth it if you have a blog and or are blogging on other people's blogs. Definitely worth it. And have fun.
Yeah, I love that. I love all those tips. Those were awesome. And everyone, go check it out because I'm getting super excited. I can't wait to try out a video now and do a Google Hangout.
Yes, let's do that together. That'd be fun.
Yes. Well, everyone, before we go, Laura, please let everyone out there who wants to work with you and maybe find out more about all these social media platforms, how might they get in contact with you?
They can certainly come to my blog, which is transformtoday.com. Again, that's transformtoday.com. And of course, if anyone needs help getting the word out about themselves, we have the Social Buzz Club, which is socialbuzzclub.com, where we're a network of influencers who share your content. It's a reciprocal content sharing site, and we've made it fun. We've gamified it.
Ooh, I love that. Yes, I saw that. I joined it.
Yes, we love posting your content.
Yes, thank you so much, Laura, for coming back on Savvy Central Radio. We're so grateful you joined us today. Thank you.
Happy to be here.
Join us 1 p.m. Eastern this Friday, where our guest will be Debbie Dashinger, where she will talk about her new, exciting book, Wisdom to Success.
Hi, it's Teresa DeGrobo here. I am so excited to be coming to New York with Christina Nitschmann and Mastering the Influence Game series hosted by Savvy Central Radio. I am going to be speaking on how to become a master at the influence game. We're going to really dive into how do you get that stampede of customers that are really anxious to buy your products and your services, and what are the really critical steps you have to take to be really successful in connecting with the high-level influencers. How do you get past the gatekeepers and have them take you seriously and really want to play with you? We're also going to talk about the power of a best-selling book, why it's your top marketing tool, and I'm going to tell you the insider secret formula for how you can get there quickly. Looking forward to seeing you.
To find out more, go to masteringtheinfluencegame.eventbrite.com.